Yo guys, welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be showing you a build utilizing the ImNexusss grenade launcher and the REVENANT exotic chest piece. Alright, similar to the last build. This build is pretty similar to that one with a couple of changes in a couple spots, but let's get quickly into this. We're using a Nova Bonding Cataclysm, Phoenix Dive. You could use Healing Rift as well if you prefer that. Burst Glide, Incinerator Snap, and the Storm Nade. The Storm Nade is just a preference. You could use literally any of these. It doesn't matter. It's just to, if you want to throw a normal nade, but ultimately you're always going to be turning your nade into the Bleak Watcher turret. We're also using Feed the Void to get that Devour, which Devour also gives you grenade energy, which I forgot to mention in the last build. Along with the healing, you also get grenade energy while you have this. So make sure you always have Devour proc, which you obviously you just infinitely will. Bleak Watcher turret, because you have to for the chest piece. We're also going to be running Facet of Awakening. This build gives you Fire Sprites, Ionic Traces, Void Breaches, and Stasis Shards. No Tangles, unless you're running a Strand weapon to get it. Or if you want to use the Arcane Needle. But this build will give you Fire Sprites, Ionic Traces, Void Breaches, Stasis Shards, all that. And all those will give you something. Fire Sprites give Grenade Energy. Ionic Traces give you Ability Energy. Void Breaches give you a class ability energy, and then Stasis Shards give you melee energy. Facet of Ruin, this is buffing the Stasis Crystal explosion, the shatter damage, and it is also buffing the solar ignitions. Facet of Purpose, currently we're getting the benefit of the Overshield. I think once Song of Flame isn't all buggy with the ignition thing, I would probably recommend this, but Overshield's also good. Woven Mail from Needlestorm could also be good. So honestly, any of these supers would be fine other than Storm Trance, because the only thing this would give you is Amplified, which ImNexusss already does, so don't even need to do that. And I wouldn't ever use that super anyway. Also, Facet of Purpose is giving us just straight DR. I don't know the percentage of how much it does, but when we're Transcendent, which is quite often, you're also getting a buffed version of that in Transcendent. We're also using Facet of Devotion to get a bunch of light energy, so whenever we kill targets affected by dark debuffs, Strand, or Stasis, we'll get that bonus light. The weapons for this build are very similar to the last build. I'm using a Bold Endings with Headstone Dragonfly. ImNexusss obviously is the main part of this for the blinding from the moths to make Ionic Traces, and it's just a grenade launcher. Another thing you guys got to remember is that the AI buff, the 33%, essentially the 33% damage buff that it's supposed to get, didn't go through. So everyone in the last video that said the fucking ImNexusss is not good, it is good first of all, but also didn't get that buff. So you got to remember that. But also the main point of that build was the blinding from the moths. But ImNexusss is the only weapon on this build that is actually mandatory. And then I'm using the Chill Inhibitor with Envious and Explosive Light. For the helmet, we're running Arc Siphon, a Special Ammo Finder, and Powerful Friends. If you want, you could run double Arc Siphon and a Special Finder. For the gloves, we're running Firepower, Impact Induction, and Focusing Strike. Firepower does proc off of the Bleak Watcher turret, so you are getting the benefit of that. Impact Induction is whenever we cause damage with our melee, it reduces the grenade, which is we are going to want the most. And then Focusing Strike, whenever we use our melee, we get that class ability cooldown as well. For the chest piece, the Raiment, this basically, whenever you throw your Stasis turret, it'll get surrounded in a storm, and it also will put 4 crystals around it as well. So what you're going to want to do for this build is when you're charging the nade and the ads spawn, throw it on top of the ads so that they get surrounded, frozen instantly, and then you blow that pack up, and then all the crystals will blow up at the same time when you shoot ImNexusss right into the middle of it. That's very strong. You also can get ice crystals if you're standing in the storm. And I'm just running resist mods. But one thing, do not run arc reserves for ImNexusss. It does not do anything. On the boots, I'm running Arc Scav for the special ammo bricks, Absolution for just ability cooldown for everything, and then Innervation for the grenade specifically. And on the bond, we're running a Reaper. Whenever we use our Phoenix Dive or a Healing Rift or Empowering Rift, whichever one, we'll make an orb on our next kill. And also, whenever we put down that, we will collect all the orbs. So whenever we Phoenix Dive, all that stuff, it'll collect all the orbs within range. And then obviously special ammo finisher. Make sure you're spamming finishers whenever you have the ability to. Like if you're playing Onslaught, for example, probably do a finisher every wave. Just so you always have bricks going around. Because if you're using ImNexusss as a primary, you will run out of ammo very fast. For the artifact, the first column, you can do whatever you want. Fail the Revenant, very, very good for Onslaught whenever the Scorn are the enemy. Rapid Impacts doesn't affect Exterius, but I needed something. You could do Killing Breeze here if you want, but Rapid Impacts, whatever. Trace Evidence is the main one we're going for. Whenever we do rapid kills with Exterius, when they're jolted or blinded, we'll get an Ionic Trace. You can also boost this with the tonic of Amplified Arc, which will give you whenever you pick up whenever you get an Ionic Trace, you get an armor charge. But a different one that you could run is for Hail the Storm, that whenever you shatter frozen targets or stasis crystals, it does extra damage. So I don't know which one that is that it will boost that. I don't have any of them, but that's the one I would recommend. And then we're also running Crystalline Converter just because we needed to do something. We're not actually using a stasis melee to gain from this, but we just needed to do something. And we don't need power from pain, so... But if you wanted to, I do think Concussive Reload and that work together, I'm pretty sure. So if you wanted to have another way to get Devour, sure. And Wind Chill, whenever we defeat Rapid Stasis Weapon, Precision Hits grants you Frost Armor. And obviously we're using Bold Endings, which is a Stasis Weapon. This will get us Frost Armor. Previous to the same thing to the last build, we're not doing this very often because you don't really need to, but you do have the option. Brain Freeze. Frozen combatants become surrounded by Chilling Fog, which slows combatants that aren't already, which, it's just another way to slow them, get that shatter damage, all that good stuff. Serve Cold. Whenever we pick up those Stasis Shards and those Void Breaches, we'll get melee energy and class ability, which this is also working with the Facet of Awakening as well, so that's just a lot of energy right there. Alright guys, that is this build. I do think this one is stronger than the previous, which my title is now fully clickbait because I do think this build is way stronger than that one. Let's get into the gameplay.